All right, guys. So, welcome into a live edition of Ravens Reports, man. I wanted to hop on here with you guys for a little bit and talk about the two trades that the Baltimore Ravens made before the NFL trade deadline that ended today at 4 p.m. The trade deadline is officially over, and the Baltimore Ravens walked away with positions, with players at two key positions. In a pass happy NFL, they walk away with a solid wide receiver who's went over 1,000 yards, who's been a great weapon throughout his career, in Deontay Johnson, who's still young and got plenty of juice left. And we walk away with a reclamation type project, some more depth in the secondary with the cornerback and Tre'davious White at the trade deadline. Let me know what you guys think about it in the comment section, but I'm going to give you guys my honest and raw reaction to this. We're going to talk about some practice reports and news and stuff that came out today regarding the upcoming matchup with the Bengals, and we're just going to get into it, man. So shout out to my guy Lamont, who's been watching for a long time. He says, "Man, I wish we could have gotten a pass rusher." Let's go ahead and start with that, because I agree. And shout out to my guy Abdi as well. Abdi's always been here for the support. Jeff, thanks for everyone that came out. But Lamont says, "Man, I wish we could have gotten a pass rusher. That was my biggest priority and hope for the Baltimore Ravens." It's not like they didn't make phone calls and try to make it happen. It's reported that the asking price was just too high for some of these pass rushers, that teams were not willing to move on. They were connected to Saints edge rusher Chase Young. The Ravens were connected to Giants edge rusher Azeez Ojulari. They were connected to defensive end, former Baltimore Raven Calais Campbell, and some other guys. But ultimately, the asking price was too high for some of these teams. And the Ravens decided they like their guys. And I'm sure we're going to hear that from General Manager Eric Decosta and John Harbaugh here in the coming days, that they like their guys. What's really confusing about the Baltimore Ravens is if you look at their stats as far as total sacks, they're top 5 in the NFL on sacks, despite some of the lack of pass rush. But as a team pass rush win rate, they're about middle of the pack, around 17th. I think it was either 17th or 19th in the NFL when it comes to how much they're winning as a unit to win the pass rush department. Despite that number, they're still top 5 in sacks. But the last few games, it's definitely felt like quarterbacks have been able to sit back. In the game against the Browns with Jameis Winston, the last game against the Denver Broncos with Bo Nix, it felt like quarterbacks were able to sit back, too comfortable in a pocket, and go through their reads. And that's why so many fans, including myself, were calling for some more depth at the pass rush position, especially because this roster is so good, especially on offense. They have the best offense, definitely the best offense in the NFL, but one of the best offenses in recent NFL history. Their DVOA numbers, their success rate, their yards per attempt through the air and on the ground is historic right now. And the Ravens are averaging over 30 points per game. You got Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry in the same offense together right now, something that's very rare, to have the best dual threat quarterback in NFL history paired with one of the best running backs in NFL history in the same backfield. My thoughts was, man, don't waste this opportunity. This offense is special. This offense is elite. The defense has not been special or elite, and it would be nice to at least get them to average middle of the pack, and or at least good, right? And I thought a pass rusher would have accomplished that and not wasted this prime opportunity that the Ravens have to win a Super Bowl. I still think they can win a Super Bowl, but I think adding a pass rusher of elite status like a Tre'davious Smith and some other guys that were out there on the trade market could have been the piece that really helped them and move the needle to help win a Super Bowl, if that makes sense. Theo says, faith is key. Go Ravens, man. I do believe in our guys. There's some guys that I really want to take this step. We saw Tavius Robinson with a few sacks in the last 2 games, upped his pressure rate as well. David Ojabo gets a sack on the Kansas City Chiefs, sacks Mahomes in the first game back. You're like, whoa, you heard so many good things in training camp, and there it is. He's sacking Mahomes in week 1 on primetime, and then now he's been a healthy scratch. So what's going on with David Ojabo? Kyle Van Noy has some flashes and some moments where he'll have 2 sacks in a game or he beats his guy, but it's not a consistent dominant force. Odafe Owe has his flashes. By the way, man, Odafe Owe was getting held hard, like bad, against the Broncos this last week. Marlo, this is from Marquise. He says, Marlo just said it's not Orr's fault. It's all about execution. Players need to do their job. Shout out to Marlo and Humphrey for having his coaches back, man. That takes a lot of guts right there. All right, let's talk about this move with Tre'davious White. All right. So Tre'davious White, if you don't know, if you're not familiar with who he was a draft pick in 2017 in the first round from the Buffalo Bills. He was an elite corner for many years with the Buffalo Bills. I think 2 All-Pro seasons and a few Pro Bowls. Maybe he's 1 All-Pro, I don't know. But he's been a stud corner, like a lockdown type of guy, top 5 corner in this league. And then in 2021, tore his ACL, wasn't quite the same after that. And then last year in 2023, tore his Achilles. He was then playing already with the LA Rams in the first 4 games, despite a 10-month-ish recovery. And it's reported that he wasn't expected to play that much and be leaned on that heavily by the Rams. And obviously, he got thrown out there, didn't put good stuff on tape, and he got benched. And then he requested a trade. And ultimately, the Baltimore Ravens trade for Tre'davious White. So now you have a secondary with Brandon Stevens, Marlon Humphrey, Tre'davious White, Darius Washington, Marcus Williams, Kyle Hamilton. The depth is definitely improved by this move. A guy that has played corner at a high level and has experience. And he's also played inside. He's played some slot corner. He's played outside. So you got some versatility there. He's physical. Marlon Humphrey and Tre'davious White, if you would have said that in like 2020, 2019, where they were like 2 of the top 3, top 5 corners at the same time, that would have been insane. But Tre'davious White right now, the Ravens are hoping that he gets healthier, and he gets back to the form that he was before the Achilles tear. And like we said, that was a relatively recent move. Brent makes a good point, says we had no business losing to the Raiders and the Browns. Hey, the Ravens could very well be 8-0 right now if they did not, or I guess what are we, 6-3? Could very well be 9-0 right now if Justin Tucker made his field goals and or Isaiah Likely didn't, he was able to get that toe down. We could what if all day, but yeah, the Ravens, they're a very good football team. And at the end of the day, they added Deontay Johnson and Tre'davious White, 2 players at key positions, like very valuable positions. I think that's what Eric Decosta is looking at, saying, hey, I just added depth at 2 very important positions in a pass-happy NFL on each side of the football. I would have liked to see Calais Campbell brought back. I'd like to have seen, Carl Granderson from the Saints or Chase Young or Azeez Ojulari to kind of help boost the pass rush. But then again, are any of those guys way better than Kyle Van Noy and Odafe Owe? I don't necessarily think so. And you're also banking that Travis Jones and Michael Pierce come back healthy. Travis Jones has been battling an ankle injury. Michael Pierce put on IR. So those guys coming back, will definitely help out the pass rush and help with Justin Madubuike not having to face so many double teams as a pass rusher. All right. I'm going to share my screen with you guys, and we'll talk about some other stuff here real quick. Baltimore Ravens injury reports. Hopefully you guys can see it. All right. Rasheen Ali, limited and full participant. Cornerback Jalen Armour Davis has been limited with a knee injury. He was inactive last week. Adisa Isaac was limited. I'd like to see more from Adisa Isaac, see what he can do. I'd also like to see David Ojabo get some playing time, man. Lamar Jackson was listed on the injury report last week with a back and knee, this time just knee. And he did not practice Monday or Tuesday. Travis Jones, defensive tackle, limited both practices with an ankle. And then tight end Isaiah Likely. This could be definitely an impactful absence here. Isaiah Likely with the 12 and 13 personnel makes a big difference. And he did not practice at all, pops up with a hamstring injury. I don't think he's going to play on Thursday Night Football. Patrick McCarry was a full participant both days with a shoulder injury. Keaton Mitchell, 2 back-to-back full practices. I think there's a solid chance that he suits up for Thursday Night Football against the Bengals. Defensive end, Brent Urban, still not cleared from concussion protocol. That leads me to believe that he probably won't be cleared for Thursday. We'll see. But they may have to call up some guys in the practice squad yet again. Wide receiver Tylan Wallace, limited. And then Broderick Washington was a full participant both days with a knee. So, in my opinion, the only guys really in danger of missing this week is Isaiah Likely and defensive end Brent Urban. We'll see what they want to do with Travis Jones, but I'm kind of in favor of letting Travis Jones fully recover because I think he's on the, he was showing some really crazy stuff on tape, bulldozing guys as a pass rusher and a run defender. So, I'd like to see Travis Jones get 100% fully right. I know this is a big game, though, however, against the division rival Cincinnati Bengals. If the Bengals win this game, suddenly they're only one game behind you, despite that really poor 1-4 start or whatever it was for them. They would be now at 5-5 at 500. And the Bengals, we know what they can do on offense. They've shredded us multiple times. They put up 38 points. Jamar Chase over 200 yards. Against us last time. Ramey says on Twitter, I need you now tonight. I need you now more than ever. These are the pass rushers, guys. These are the guys that are going to be relied upon to get it done. And that's going to be, let's look at the depth here. Justin Madubuike, Travis Jones, Michael Pierce on IR can return in 3 weeks from now. Broderick Washington, Brent Urban, Odafe Owe, Yannick Ngakoue, David Ojabo. Another guy not listed on here is Adisa Isaac. And then Tre'davious Robinson. So, man, I want to ask you guys this. It's third down, 3rd and 10 in the AFC Championship versus, let's say, the Houston Texans or the Kansas City Chiefs, maybe the Bengals, right? One of these, AFC rivals. It's 3rd and 10. Who's your 4 pass rushers that you're putting out there on a 4-man rush? I just want to know. Obviously, you're going to put out Odafe Owe, Justin Madubuike, maybe Travis Jones. But then who's your other edge guy? Is it Kyle Van Noy? Is it Yannick Ngakoue? Is it Tre'davious Robinson, David Ojabo? Who do you trust right now to get after the quarterback in those 4-man rush, gotta have pressure type of situations? The fact that you don't really know the 4th guy, to me, spelled out the obvious need to get a pass rusher. I'm disappointed the Ravens didn't bring in a guy. I think a lot of Ravens fans are, but they feel like they can get the job done without one of these guys. So who's your 4 guys? Let me know in the comments section below your 4 guys that on 3rd and 10 the AFC Championship. Who you putting out there on a 4-man rush? Ray Ward says, good job on your channel. Growth Noah. God is great always. Peace, y'all. God bless my beautiful and amazing country. Appreciate you, Ray. God bless you as well, man. Context says it's a first down. I guess he's answering my question. We're going to turn it around, bro. The defense is going to be just fine. I do have faith in the defense. They're going to get this thing right, man. They have too much talent for it to not at least be an average to good defense. Too much talent, man. Roquan Smith's got to pick up his game. Kyle Hamilton's having a great season. Marlon Humphrey's having a great season. Brandon Stevens got to pick up his game a little bit, man. We got the rookie and Nate Wiggins who's improving. And Justin Madubuike, I know he's getting doubled, but man, hey, we paid you as like the top highest paid defensive tackle in football. I need you to get after the quarterback a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? These guys got to step up. All right. Let's see what else we got here. By the way, Cole Jackson puts out on Twitter here, top 5 in receiving yards. Look at our guy. Are you kidding me right now? The Baltimore Ravens have a top 5 receiver? So this is what it's been like for these teams all these years while the Ravens are having Lamar Jackson throw to Willie Snead as their wide receiver 1 or Michael Crabtree. Lamar Jackson got some weapons now, man. And you wonder, is it just coincidence? Is it just coincidence that the year Lamar Jackson has the best supporting cast around him, he's having his best season ever on pace right now? He's a favorite to win MVP. You know, he's second in the NFL in passing yards, first in passer rating, first in yards per attempt, I think first in QBR, putting up absurd passing numbers right now. Is it just coincidence that, you know, all of a sudden we have ourselves a top 5 receiver for the first time in Lamar Jackson's career? We got tight ends, we got our Derrick Henry, we got some guys. Bait. The Ravens said, hey, that's not enough. Let's go ahead and add Deontay Johnson to the mix as well. So hey, man, the Ravens are going all in with this offense. They're going to have to carry the load in some of these games if the defense can't get the job done. So Tre'davious White, man, like we said, I think like there's no downside to the move. They swapped 7-round picks, so you didn't have to give up anything. I think you had to pay like $1.8 million for the salary hit this year. He's a free agent next year, so you there was no risk. Like it was a zero risk, high ceiling, high reward type of situation where if it works out, if he gets, you know, maybe even 70, 80, 90% to where he was at that all pro level, yourself a solid corner, some depth on the outside, a guy that can play physical, experience, um, you know, but if it doesn't work out, you didn't lose anything. Same thing with Deontay Johnson. We essentially gave up a 5th-round pick, but we got like what, a 6 in return. Um, and he's a guy that's went for 1,000 yards as a receiver and has 3 games this season over 75 yards plus 3 touchdowns. We're making moves, man. Sarah Ellison says, so Eric, she puts it great here. So Eric Decosta got wide receiver Deontay Johnson and cornerback Tre'davious White for essentially free. We'll see if either can make an impact, but no real complaints on either trade because, again, they were free. The really only complaint is that EDC wasn't able to address the pass rush. He may have tried, but in the end, didn't get anybody. That's where I'm a little bit disappointed. The formula to victory will continue to be the offense putting up leading points while working to steadily improve on defense. That's the formula, man. Get better on defense, keep improving, get healthy with Travis Jones and Michael Pierce coming back. You know, get our guy Tre'davious White healthy, practicing again. You know, he hadn't played in 4 weeks. He's been a healthy and active, and he's coming off what I think was a rushed return from an Achilles tear. Came back and was practicing within 10 weeks. So yeah, it's reported by Jack Settleman that the Ravens were trying to make moves for the pass rush department, but guys were just teams were asking for too much. Tre'davious White on his career has forced a 17.2% career forced incompletion rate, the 4th highest rated among cornerbacks during that time period. You know, this is a little bit misleading to just throw that stat out there for his career and then not look at what he's done in recent years. So yeah, shout out to Eric Decosta because I do think this, you know, you added 2 players at key positions in the roster for essentially nothing. Smart moves. The Steelers have landed wide receiver Mike Williams and edge rusher Preston Smith. Preston Smith, you know, I wouldn't have been mad if he came in here, but I don't think he's a big needle mover. They already have TJ Watt, Nick Herberg, Alex Highsmith. It's not like this improves their pass rush, in my opinion. Mike Williams does improve their wide receiver core, however, adds another threat opposite of George Pickens, another, you know, big contestant catch type of guy that can be physical. And some of the physical receivers have given us issues thus far this season. So yeah, let's look at the chat. Obviously, not a lot of guys happy that the Ravens didn't bring in a pass rusher. Some encouraging numbers is that Odafe Owe is top 15, top 20 right now in pass rush win rate. Cal Van Noy, he's been making some splashes. Justin Madubuike didn't fall off a cliff. He's one of the best interior pass rushing defensive tackles. And the Ravens secondary is very talented. I think they're going to continue to improve on the defensive side of the football. And like we said, the formula is going to be continue to score a lot of points. And that's not a bad thing. For so many years, man, we complained about, man, we have the best defense, top 5 defense, top 3 defense, but no offense. We never traded for anyone on the offensive side of the football. We had mediocrity on offense for a long time. It's so funny now that the script has flipped and we don't have a great defense. We have mediocrity to poor defense right now, but the best offense in football. Very interesting to see how that's worked out. Deontay Johnson, I think he's going to make an impact though this season. Deontay Johnson, Zay Flowers, and Rashad Bateman, 11 personnel with Keaton Mitchell coming back and Derrick Henry, man. Excuse me. I think there's going to be a lot opened up by Keaton Mitchell and Deontay Johnson kind of being injected into the offense simultaneously at the same time here. It's going to be a lot of fun, man. Kevin says, I've always said defense wins championships. That's like a kind of a catchphrase. Shout out to Lynetta says, bless you. Bless you as well. Oh, I guess that was for the sneeze, but God bless you anyways. Thanks for the sneeze. Bless you. Jabo needs to be cut, says Contact. Bro, I had so much hopes for David Ojabo. I thought, man, this is a guy that's really going to get after the quarterback. He's so talented and athletic and just naturally gifted, man. But it hasn't worked out for him thus far. It's so weird. We got excited about training camp. Like he was making a bunch of splashes in training camp. People were saying, man, he's the real deal. He's getting after it. And then all of a sudden, week 1 rolls around. He sacks Mahomes. And you're like, whoa, David Ojabo is here. Like all this hype in training camp wasn't fluff. It was real. And then all of a sudden, like he just falls off a cliff. And David Ojabo has been a healthy and active like for multiple weeks now. I don't understand why we're not getting more reps because we need help in the pass rush department. I think he's more naturally gifted as a pass rusher than Tre'davious Robinson. I understand Tre'davious Robinson's a Raven type of guy with the high motor and the effort, but David Ojabo is more naturally gifted as a pass rusher, in my opinion. Yeah, man, we got to get after it. We're going to have a video tomorrow for you guys previewing the Baltimore Ravens and Cincinnati Bengals game, but we got to get after these Bengals because if we can get this win on a short turnaround, we're going to move to 7 wins. They're going to go 2 games below 500 because they're already 1 game below 500. If they win, though, they're right at 500. So we need to send them 2 games below 500. Go ahead and get to 7 wins. And we're not even winning our division right now. The Pittsburgh Steelers are in the lead for the division. So we got work. We got work to do, man. I don't know what the problem is with the Ojabo, Royal Jones, man. I really don't. Maybe we'll have to dig around, ask some reporters, ask what's going on in the streets. I don't know, man. I don't know if it's performance, if it's attitude, if it's effort. I have no idea. I'm not going to speculate too much, but I just think Ojabo is too talented to not be out there, man. Yeah, Doc says they got to rotate that D line, see who's who. I think that's why they're giving Tre'davious Robinson some more opportunities, and he's produced with those more opportunities. I think he has. Let's look at the numbers here. Let's look at the numbers, what Tre'davious Robinson has done, because I'm pretty sure he had multiple sacks within the last 2 weeks. I know last week he had 2 sacks, but I want to see what he did before that. So Tre'davious Robinson, let's look at the game log. So he had half a sack. Okay, so he actually got a sack on our guy that we're about to place on Thursday, Joe Burrow. He got a sack against Burrow. He got a half sack against Cleveland, in that ugly loss, and then 2 sacks against Denver. That puts him at 3.5 sacks on the season, and definitely a big step up from what we saw last season. Tavius Robinson, definitely a big physical rusher, with a high motor, high effort. But I do think, like Doc David says, they just got to rotate that D line, see who's who. I think that's what they're doing, finding out what they got in Tavius. Another guy is Adisa Isaac, who I thought flashed in preseason. He was a pretty high draft pick, third round pick. I think it was 75 overall or something like that. We got to see what we got in him as well. See if we can get him some reps. The Turd Burglar says, KC ain't scary. We beat ourselves and refuse to run the ball. We can beat anyone if we are dialed in. Teams have to pass against it. The pass rush will get there. I think we can beat Kansas City. I think absolutely we're the better football team. When you look at our offense versus their offense, the ability to put up points, their offense has really been mediocre the last 2 seasons. Patrick Mahomes has absolutely gotten carried by their defense. And if you look at the numbers, that's just what the numbers tell you. Patrick Mahomes does make key clutch plays on third down and stuff to get just enough, to win the game. But it's not like they've been steamrolling teams like they have in years past, like the Ravens are. The Ravens are absolutely a threat to the Chiefs. If they don't think they are, if they don't think we're a threat, man, let them keep thinking that. Shout out to Quan for the super chat. He says, who will be the vet that asks to be released to come here for that Super Bowl run? Hopefully we can see Beaks outside to get him one-on-one opportunities. Hey, that's a really good point. Thanks for the super chat, by the way. But I was thinking the same thing. Hey, why don't we get Justin Madubuike outside to rush a little bit? I know he's big, like 290 pounds, 300 pounds. But he's athletic, man. He can move. He's got so much power and burst, explosiveness. We did see that with Mike McDonald last year where he rushed him on the outside, and it did work. So that's something to play around with and test. I don't know who the guy is that has to get released, though. However, we'll see. I think the Ravens have a really, really good roster. Yeah, contract saying Chris Jones does it. Chris Jones moves on the outside a good bit, depending on matchup as well. If they like a matchup they see. All right, guys, I just wanted to hop on here. I wanted to break down these trades, my honest reaction. To kind of wrap up my thoughts, I wish we would have added a pass rusher, but I am happy that the Ravens did make 2 moves and adding key players at key positions. Deontay Johnson, I think obviously that's the more impactful move out of the 2, but Tre'davious White, if he can get back to form, maybe even 80, 90% before the major injuries, that would be excellent. I think he rushed back from the Achilles tear in like a 10-month recovery time. And but he's physical, and I think he's a veteran guy with experience who's smart, and hopefully he can get back to form. And then hopefully we can get Michael Pierce and Travis Jones back fully healthy, and this defense can really start to dial into form. I still think this Ravens defense is good enough. If they can just be average to a slightly above average with the offense we have right now, we can still win a Super Bowl. Let me know what you guys think about that, man. Smash the like button if you enjoyed today's content. I love you guys. Appreciate y'all. Again, shout out to my guy Lamont, who's a patron, and just my guy here. I love y'all. Appreciate y'all. And we'll see you in the next video.